So Andrew Stiles has written something for the Free Beacon that I just love. It is really important that, hey, didn't all of our mothers say turn that frown upside down? Let's look for the positives in what happened in Afghanistan. Because yes, it was the biggest embarrassment in American history. People said, this is like Saigon. No, it's not. It's not like Saigon because nobody was hanging on to the helicopter and then plunging to their death after takeoff. So it wasn't like Saigon. They're right. But he writes, the Biden administration's Afghanistan policy may have failed in the conventional sense, but it was remarkably successful in the terms of gender and racial diversity of the individuals responsible for that failure. Many will die as a result, but blame for their deaths will be shared among an impressive array of female and people of color in official capacities. All in all, this is a triumph of American inclusiveness and exceptionalism. For instance, Vice President Kamala Harris was reportedly the last person in the room with President Joe Biden when he made the decision to withdraw American troops from Afghanistan. Harris, a female person of color, she is a Tamil Indian, Afro-Jamaican descent, and she's also in charge of Biden administration's failed efforts to secure our southern border. So she's quite an amazing woman, and her chief spokesperson is also a person of color. Now, if you want to go a little further, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, first African-American to serve in that position and the first to preside over military defeat in such an extraordinary magnitude. So he'll be remembered. Avril Haines, the Director of National Intelligence, she's the first woman to oversee an epic intelligence failure after the U.S. spy agencies estimated the Taliban would overrun Kabul within 90 days of U.S. withdrawal. It just happened in 72 hours. But she is going to be remembered as the first woman to really oversee something this horrific. By the way,
glass ceiling shattered.
Shattered. She also used to host regular erotica night events in bookstores in Baltimore. So we got that going for her. We got her. What?
Is that true? I'm not up on
That's
my
absolutely true, yeah.
Avril Haines.
Another important figure in Biden's decision to withdraw from Afghanistan is the Deputy Secretary of State, Wendy Sherman. Now, she was the former director of Emily's List, who served as a lead negotiator for the Iran nuclear deal, and she was joined by Victoria Nuland, the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs. Nuland prepared, at Choate Rosemary Hall. She graduated from Brown University, served as a non-resident fellow at the Brookings Institution, and she is also a woman who has defended Chinese propaganda. But she's a woman. She's a woman. And she was there. Okay? And that counts for something. Linda Thomas Greenfield, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, she provided invaluable representation as a person of color with a vagina. Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, critical voice from the Latinx community as he oversaw the administration's effort to provide visa to military interpreters and other Afghan refugees. Now, it didn't really work out, but the blood of those people will be on the most diverse set of hands in the history of American decision-making.
Wow,
and I think
that's great.
That is... Now, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, conveniently out of the office until the 22nd of August, but she has been both a fearless defender of the administration's decision to withdraw from Afghanistan, a stern critic of the Taliban. She has a vagina. Last week, she warned that the militant group has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community. And I think that kind of dress down from Psaki, again, a woman, is amazing. And she's just not a woman, okay? She is also a proud member of the underrepresented ginger American community. You don't see a lot of gingers, and especially gingers in power. Not in this country, at least. No, you don't.
Not enough, Glenn.
Not enough.
enough.
Not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that is a diverse group of people. Of course, Biden represents those people who are in cognitive decline, at the older set that just can't do it anymore. And that is that's underrepresented in most boardrooms, or the highest levels of corporate
organization attempting to be competent don't normally employ. Don't take the brave step of taking someone who is incompetent, and put them in charge. Yeah. And we've done that.
I mean, I think that when you get somebody who is cognitively completely checked out, that is an important underrepresented viewpoint. Really,
it was an interesting choice to put as a leader someone who's incompetent and incontinent, which is
not usually done.
Not the normal step.
Not usually done.
And I was under the impression, Glenn, I have to say, that I thought maybe, and this is, I shouldn't admit this on the air, but I was under the impression that only white men could fail this spectacularly.
No. And that's why we have to celebrate inclusiveness, and we have to celebrate the fact that we see now people of color, people with vaginas, people that are ginger, people that are completely incapacitated because they're so old.
Yes,
they can bring about the biggest debacle in all of American history. And I think that is
that's incredible.
Is something that we should just pause for a minute and look at. But I will tell you that it's more than just this, because we have to go back to President Obama, and really a tip of the hat to President Obama for this, because, he was the guy who really laid the groundwork for all of this. And I think it's great. In 2014, we all might remember the 5 Taliban commanders, that were released from Gitmo. And white guys like me, we were like, don't do that. That's really, these guys are really bad. But he pointed out that now they've been in jail now since 2002, and they can go back and be productive members of society. And it was Barack Obama, again, a person of color, just to show the diversity. There were white people involved. There were men. There were blacks. There were Native Americans, there were Indians, there were all kinds of different people involved in this decision that made it as spectacular as it really is. I mean, when you want to say, hey, did the white people just take off on an airplane where a bunch of people were hanging onto the sides and have them fall to the death? You'll say, no. That was a community that made that happen.
That's great.
And so when you look at the new commander of the Taliban, the guy who's in charge of the Taliban, I just want you to know that he was in Gitmo until 2014. He was taken in 2002 because now don't judge him, okay? He was one of the main liaisons with Al-Qaeda. While he was functioning in the original Taliban government.
So someone that can work well with others.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And he was really doing some great things back then. He was the Minister of the Interior. Now, here, the Minister of Interior would oversee our national parks and things like that. But over in the Taliban, the Minister of Interior is the guy that oversees the enforcement of the Islamist punishments. So he was the guy who was in charge of cutting people's hands and heads off, stonings, and those kinds of things. That was his job. And we captured him in 2002 because he was not a good guy. So we sent him to prison. And then in 2014, Barack Obama finds this guy who we all know is a hero. You remember Bo Bergdahl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Army sergeant.
That
that was taken by the extremists, and he was taken not tortured, but he was held for 2 years, and then during that 2 years, suddenly they became very, very good at targeting our troops, and later we find out that. He pleaded guilty to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy and was sentenced to a dishonorable discharge. He appealed, but the courts upheld the conviction against him. So, and several soldiers were killed or seriously injured during the search and rescue missions to find him. Sorry, it wasn't 2 years; it was 5 years in captivity. And that's when Obama celebrated him as a heroic POW, something that the Pentagon never said, obviously, because they were getting ready to, charge him with serious crimes. But then his dad, praised Allah in the Rose Garden, and it was great. It was great. We traded him for the guy who's now leading the Taliban. So I think we have even, when you think this is bad, then you realize, no, this collection of very diverse people.
I was thinking back to the
did a great job.
Immortal words of Bo Bergdahl, and I'm glad that we traded this Taliban, leader for him. And I was thinking back to what he was saying about America and how much he loved it. And when he said, "I'm sorry for everything here. These people need help, yet what they get is the most conceited country in the world telling them that they are nothing and that they are stupid and they have no idea how to live. I am sorry for everything. The horror that is America is disgusting."
Oh, that's great.
I'm glad we got him. Yeah, I'm glad we got him back. We traded him for only 5 Taliban leaders, including the leader.
The leader now, who's in charge of Afghanistan, who, by the way, has promised there will be a very diverse Taliban. They are not going to overlook women this time around.
Good. Again, another win. Another win.
He'll kill them just as fast as anybody else.